Here's another koan, a thing to think about. Here's one. I'll give you a question. Think about this and see if anybody here can come up with the spiritual revelation. Why, if there are 10 people in a room, does everybody have a different opinion? Why, when you call up people and you talk about your problems, they look at you and say, hey, I don't see what's so bad about that. Why, when you hear other people's problems, do you think it's not so terrible? Why is that? Think about that. Rather than me, somebody giving you the answer to your problems, think about that. But I'll tell you one answer I got from somebody. They said, look, I get a lot of pushback on this. I do a lot of other meetings, and they said to me, look, it's because of the way we were brought up. Bob, don't you understand? People are brought up differently, so they react to the world differently. So they're giving me the pushback on that, but they found the answer, but it didn't sink in. It is true. It's based on a false premise. Exactly what the person said, but they didn't see the clarity of what they were thinking. It's understanding. The understanding, all knowledge, will give you the answer. Having that understanding. That's the real wisdom, is being still and letting that answer come to you. Because when they said it's the way we're brought up, that's the comprehension. So we have to understand it was our perception. We were a child. We took it upon ourselves to react certain ways to certain things. So when we have that conception, that was my spiritual awakening. Again, I have another one. Hey, look, let's go. I'm gonna stick to this. And again, a lot of times I tell people this stuff. But the spiritual awakening, look, it says in Bill's story, common sense becomes uncommon sense. And you have to ask yourself, if you disagree with everything I'm saying, let me ask you this: how's your life working out for you till now? How's that working out for you, right? I went to this guy years ago. I had a lot of problems, and I went and I spoke to his professional, and I talked to him, and he says, hey Bob, how's that working out for you? So if your life is working out for you, you can leave the meeting now. But if it's not, if you have a problem, an issue. But let me tell you something about that. So, quote, normal people. Let me tell you something about our program. A lot of people come in here, they say it's the last house on the block. They say, oh, what am I doing? I have to go in a program. No, these steps are based on all the wisdom, Eastern, Western philosophy, ancient Greek philosophers. I'll tell you right now, anytime I have tons of books on all of those things, and I've read all of them, and they all come back to these steps. I'm telling you, go read something in your literature, in your religious literature, and you'll see it's all here. You're getting the wisdom. This is the PhD in life. You're in a beautiful program, like they say, I was a grateful alcoholic. I was a grateful compulsive overeater, right? I'm grateful because I finally surrendered. Do you realize the richest people in the world, people on yachts and wealthy people, they're still trying to figure it out. They're going for the material things. Look, they figure I had a lot of success. If I have another $1 billion, I'm going to be happy. If I have another big house or yacht, how sorry are we for them? There's the things of the flesh. There's those transitory things. Look, we came to the world with nothing and we're going with nothing. So all I'm saying to you now is that all of these problems and issues you're thinking about now, let them go. They're not true. No, it says in the Doc's opinion, know the truth from the false, right? But listen, I have, food, again, I told you, our conception of the food is these big plates that we're brainwashed by the corporations, by everything around us, the advertisers on TV and the internet. The great truth is this, and the good news is that we can have that transformation and change. Where do we find it? In the 12 steps, in a spiritual awakening. I use the 12 steps, look. A lot of people come in here. It's the instruction booklet, I have a story to tell you about that. This is, sometimes we put like a shelving unit together. So a friend of mine, he would always read the directions. We were putting stuff, as a roommate, putting stuff together. So I said to him, look, I see you always read the directions. I said, I don't have to read the directions. Not only that, I'm doing such a great job at putting the shelving unit together. I have parts left over, so that's the same with my life. I never used, I always had parts left over, right? Because I didn't want to read the instructions. People come, hey, look, people come in here from Eastern, Western religious philosophies, deep thinkers, PhDs, and I've been with many of them. They've been all kinds of clerical people, and in meetings, I've been to thousands of meetings, and I dealt with a lot of people, and you know what they say? They didn't even have that closeness to their creator, that higher consciousness, that revelation, that spiritual awakening until they do these 12 steps. Step 12 says, having had that spiritual awakening. But I'll go back to step 1. If you're going to meetings and you could tell when a person says something whether they did step 1 or not, whether in the problem or in the solution. Again, right here, right now, we could be in the solution. We don't have to sit in the problem anymore. The solution is, hey, on page 417, it says not so much in what happens in the world, but in our thinking. Hey, our perception is 95% of the problem. When we surrender, we'll know all the answers. The answers are in us. Nobody can teach you. Listen to this one. I love this one. Nobody can teach you anything you don't already know. But it's the intellect. God gave us this intellect, right? We should be fearful, like I say, if somebody's putting a gun to your head or you're in the wilderness and a bear or a lion is going to attack you. But no, we misuse God's given intellect. Again, intellect used to get onto a Zoom meeting. That's good. But we use it, what? For everything in life. People look at us the wrong way. We can have that transformation. It talks about all throughout this book that perception change. Page 25. It says the great fact is just this. We had revolutionary changes. So the whole key to this whole thing is, look, this might help. And this is my spiritual awakening when I realized what I was thinking wasn't true. And I'm not saying, I talk about the ancient mystical philosophies and stuff like that, and they talk about in Kabbalah and things like that. They talk about go out and enjoy the world in the Zohan. They say, look, enjoy this world, have pleasure in it, enjoy it, but know the truth from the false. The thing is that the real joy and happiness. So we're looking for it on the outside. It's only in here. So if I say to you, and we understand, and you believe that, do you believe what I'm saying? That the joy and happiness is in here? If you believe that, then you can say to yourself, what I'm thinking is false, right? Now, look, here's the thing. So somebody says, look, I come to the meeting next day, I have these thoughts. I'm anxious or I'm upset, I'm fearful. I says, yeah, but look, 90% of it, 50% at least will go away if you understand the truth. They understand you don't have to listen to your thinking, right? We hear all of these thinkers say, be in the present. Observe your thoughts. But not only observe them, realize they're false. They're not true, right? If I have a problem today, I'm the problem, right? Changing my thinking, is the way to go. So we have this thinking where we have that conception change of what's going on around us when we have that positiveness. So again, we don't have to think anymore. We have this, hey, look, I only did step 1. Step 2 says what? What is step 2? Hey, look, first of all, before I go to step 2, because I know people have been in this program 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and I don't think they've done step 1. I don't think you'd think either if somebody says, look, I'm going to try to figure this out. I try to get into my emotions. I'm trying to analyze my problems. I'm trying to assert myself. If I say something different to somebody, maybe it'll change. If I show them who I think I am. You ever hear that one? Show them who I think I am. That's what we want to do in life. It's the ego. The ego lies to us all day long, every time. That's why we need the spiritual awakening. That's why, hey, look, I just did step 1. I said you should have the spiritual awakening now. But I'll tell you what, if you need further, if further academic, help, if you want to go to more self-help here, as they call it, or, what do they call that word, where you need remedial help? Okay, this is for people who need more remedial help. We have what's called the step 2. Let's go to step 2. Came to believe. Hey, look. Power greater ourselves can restore us to sanity. Let me say something about that. How many times you've heard people say, look, be in the present, be in the now, be here, right? I wash the dishes, you're washing the dishes, right? You ever hear that? Hey, I got a story to tell you about that. Look, I could go all day long trying to be in the present, be in the now, trying to, but that's self-will, right? Step 2 says what? A power greater than ourselves. You realize a little bit, and it says this in the Bible, a little bit of faith, right? As small as, like, what does it say, a mustard seed? Is faith, the grace of God. If we have a belief, and that's out of the self. So look, it's like the story here. Instead of going around all day long and saying, I got to be in the present, I got to wash the dishes when I'm washing the dishes, you can do that. As far as it goes, it's good, right? But I've known a lot of people in the program who go to listen to all of this stuff and meditate all day long, and which is good in a way. We have meditation and prayer. But the meditation is good as far as it goes, because they try to, all day long, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to be in the present. I'm going to be here, be there. It could drive you crazy. Step 2 says a power greater than ourselves, the grace of a higher consciousness. This is where the spiritual awakening comes in, when it's not us anymore. When we find this creative God, this entity, which, hey, look, I always tell you this world is so wonderful and beautiful. It's so orderly. There's a creative intelligence there. Spirit of the universe, in the Tao and these things, they think of the energy, right? We cut it off, right? With what's called our defects of character, with the self, the things of the flesh.